Welcome to the Sci-Fi Guys. I'm your host, Dave. As with me always is John and Chad. Today we are talking about a movie because it's Independence Day. You can tell on my red, white, and blue here. It's coming up here. We're talking about Independence Day Resurgence, the sequel to ID4. All right, before we start, guys, what'd y'all think? Just give us an overview real quick. Chad, what'd you think of the movie?
I love the movie.
You love the movie? Oh, cool. Okay.
Well, the thing is I already heard good things about it. It was almost just as good as the first one, but they left us some more questions from the first one, like to me. But I'll watch it again.
John, what'd you think?
I mean, I was highly entertained. It was very good. A few things that I'll definitely have to discuss once we get, further down the line in our podcast. But overall, I'll stick with right now. It's very entertaining. It was very good.
Good. All right. So let's start off with our favorite parts, where we come up with questions to ask either about the movie, about just things about it, what have you. So the first question I have for you guys. All right, so we noticed in this movie that now it's 20 years after the first time that the aliens came. So how did all the countries overcome their differences to be united just in case the aliens come back? And how would we rebuild considering the world was so decimated after the first movie? Let's go ahead and stump you right off the bat.
I mean, listen, that would fall under one of our later categories to me. I definitely don't see the whole world coming back together, especially not in a 20-year time span, because from 96 to 2016, I don't think the world's uniting that quickly, even if it is just to try to defend from aliens, let alone rebuild everything that was knocked down. Because it wasn't like, oh, no, that's a couple of buildings. Like, no, I mean, quite a substantial bit of damage. I'm a little pessimistic. I don't think that would happen in any way, shape, or form in the real world. Not in 20 years. Now, you give it a couple hundred, maybe. That's a big maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah,
all right, Chad?
That's a very big maybe. You look at it. 20 years, you had the whole world agreeing to protect itself, but you still have the countries being their own country. But where was, I didn't believe it for 20 years. I don't think it will ever happen. 100 years from it, yeah, maybe. Think about it. Where you had every country out there, you had China, I don't know if Russia was part of it. You had warlords, you had all these people with everything. Even China being the one, Chinese pilot flying the new aircraft.
There's a story behind that of why that was. That was so they could get past the Chinese filters, so they could have that on there, so they could go ahead and get Chinese revenue. So
yeah,
and also that's why when Brent Spiner or whoever, doctor, whatever the heck his name was, all of a sudden now in this movie he turns out to be homosexual. In the first movie it didn't lead us to that at all, so there was reasons for that. All right, let's go to the next question. Okay. All right, so now we have all these technologies. You can tell by the fighters, the big honking lasers. We got
even the helicopters.
You got Moon Base Alpha. Yeah, you got helicopters that don't need blades. You got all this stuff. So in all this, why are all the ground-based vehicles still using gasoline and look like regular cars? I mean, all the planes and stuff look like spaceships, but all the cars look just like they would in 2016.
Oh Lord, yes.
I mean,
I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
That's the goal there. I also think, from a realistic sense, maybe some brand deals were made. So you got to keep the cars looking the same so they can sell some. I really don't. In a world building view, I really don't get why the vehicles are the same. I mean, if we have fuel cells and everything else, we could do way better
yeah,
on that.
I mean, if you could do fuel cells and all that, but why does a school bus look the same as a school bus still?
That school bus looked like back in the 96.
Yeah, that looked like an old school bus.
Well, okay, even now though, they haven't changed school buses a lot. I don't.
Oh, they have.
Yeah, they've got air conditioning on school buses.
Yeah.
now,
Yeah, but they still look the same.
No, they got a little bit on curves.
A few curves.
Curves. You're right. Yeah.
Okay, a few. But now that said, maybe they aren't fueled by gasoline, and maybe the tires are different because there is a whole big retro outfitting thing. Like you can retrofit even now electric cells to an older vehicle. Like if you like the look of, for me, like a 96 F-150, I could buy a kit and turn it into an EV. Maybe it's just that. Maybe they just like the retro look and they just stuck with it everywhere. I don't know.
I don't know. The station wagon, she said that we're almost out of gas.
Almost out of gas. Yeah, you got gas station. You just
I'm trying to give them something here.
no,
not us.
But think about it. You have different looking airplanes, all this fuel cells. Why couldn't they put that technology in the car and make it fly like the Back to the Future style?
Laziness, Chad. Laziness.
Well, I mean, it does make you wonder. It's like, okay, all right, so you want to put all the money and everything and all the time and effort into getting ready to, in case the aliens come again.
Yeah.
Okay, this is not a question I sent to you guys, but I'm going to ask it anyway. All right, and it was in my plot holes, but I'll ask you guys, why in God's green earth would you still have a ceremony celebrating the attack that y'all not forfeited? What's the word I'm looking for? Basically, stop the attack from happening 20 years ago when there's an alien that just shows up in front of your moon base at the same time. And now you're just saying, okay, we're going to still have the party. No.
No, you cancel that ceremony right away.
Exactly. I won't mention in plot holes, even though I probably should. But
yeah, I should.
Well, believe me, there's tons of other ones.
There's tons of other ones in there.
Yeah, there's tons of other ones. Okay. So I'm going to go to this next one then, since we're still talking about technologies and spaceships and all that. Why was a fully intact alien ship left in a warlord's hands and it was not disassembled for the Earth's troops or studied or what have you? Because all the other ones were crashed at some point. This one was fully intact and just sitting there.
It was just sitting there. But think about it. You said it, warlord. It was in Africa. It wasn't a country that was really in talks with any other nations at the time. So
look at the weapons that they had. They
Yeah.
had the same blasters that the United States and China and all those other guys had.
Yeah, but
So
you heard
they got to have some kind of trade, and
Well,
to me that would have been.
you heard the doctor said, "Oh, so you must have found the you raided the armory on the spaceship."
Okay.
I think it's because
That's
it's a
so awesome.
warlord. He's a good defender
Yeah.
overall. So I mean, sometimes maybe it's just for the sake of the unity that they apparently got in 20 years. Maybe that was just a deal they made. All right, fine, warlords, you just get to keep the ship because we don't want to, go to war when we're trying to get ready for everything else. But at the end of the day, it doesn't make sense.
I mean, like they also they hunted them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. How long has that ship been there then?
Apparently it was there the 20 years
No.
the whole time.
The whole time, but okay, if it was there the whole time, well, so they had aliens on it. They were coming out, so they was hunting them. So how long they was doing that?
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, let me go to the next one. So, what did you think of Earth's defenses, considering they were going against this Queen Hive ships? Apparently, these are much bigger. You know, they decided that hey, bigger is better. So, what y'all think of our defenses now that the aliens have come back 20 years later? How did we fare against them?
Still felt the same as the last time. We didn't fare with the technology there. It might have slowed them down just a little bit, but didn't slow them down much.
I was about to say, if we're rating lightsaber scale like we like to use,
You
minimum
will.
0. Yeah, just a minimum of 0 on
Yeah.
the defense. I'm voting -5 because if we've advanced that far in 20 years and it still means nothing, what was the point to begin with? You know what I mean? Like we spent all that time and energy on defense systems and still made it nowhere. And the thing that defeated the Queen was its own technology. Like, so
Their own
really, at
ships.
what point
Yeah, it
did we
wasn't even
really
ours.
do anything? So it's all pointless.
Yeah, kind of the way the whole movie was, you know, when it comes to stuff like that, you know. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to ask question is, all right, so I'm going to get to the big fight scene. So the Queen is there, and all of a sudden she just takes all of her fighters and they're just circling around her. Why didn't she just say, hey guys, go find that sphere and destroy it, period? Doesn't matter how, you don't have to sit there and circle around me, you know. I mean, I didn't get that. So I wanted to get y'all's opinion on that.
Ooh, like they said, well, we gotta think hive mind. They might he should. They were like, hey, I'm gonna have them first line of defense. I'm gonna sacrifice them if before I get because her shield was down. Remember, so she was using them as shields, not no. So
Yeah,
she sacrificing them before she died.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's definitely what should have happened. And overall, at least a 50-50. Like send half, keep half. I mean, that could have worked too. I mean, you're just in control of them before as you would have been then. So just send half to attack, keep half as a shield. I mean, something. Either way, no matter what, sending some from the hive makes way more sense because, I mean, power in numbers. It'd been a lot harder to overcome, 30 from the hive as opposed to just one big queen.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, we're going to go on to our next segment. Our favorite plot holes. I've got a list, but I don't want to say them all because we'll be here all night. But I want to start with you guys. John, it looks like you're just chomping at the bit.
I know. My biggest one, and probably what all of them will fit under, is the 20-year mark. That is the biggest malarkey. None of this happened within 20 years from the last time. Now, I also say the general attack from the Queen ship this time, that should have been the first attack. Because to me, like, you have this big, powerful ship. Maybe the first one was a scouting ship, and I think this one tried to explain what it was. I don't know. The first attack could have been this really big one. But again, the 20 years thing, the technology's not happening in that amount of time. The Unity's not happening in that amount of time. And most of the other plot holes that I would have thought or come up with, they come down to the fact that none of that's happening in 20 years anyway, so they wouldn't have been there to have a plot hole. 20 years is not happening. At least I need 50-year timeline, something in the future.
They wanted it
not set when the movie came out.
I can tell you they wanted to do 20 years because they wanted to keep some of the original cast. And they could get away with a 20-year. You can't get away with a 50-year,
Yeah, but they could have done that with a flashback.
Could have, but you wanted those characters to be integral to what's happening.
I know, and I understand the first movie also was set in the time that it came out. And if you're following tradition in terms of that, I get the move. But again, I just don't. It's not happening in 20 years.
No,
it didn't help the plot at all.
So, Chad, did you see any plot holes besides the 20-year thing
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to figure out whether the lieutenant Jack or where did he come from? I knew where Hillard and the girl who the girl was.
Well, the girl was the president's daughter.
President's
He was her fiance.
Yeah, but where was she said they killed my parents. Who was the parents? So they all knew each other.
Yeah, I don't. Oh, you mean who was his parents in the first movie?
Yeah,
I have no idea. I'm assuming that. I mean, just any parents. He was an orphan kid after that.
Yeah,
I'm guessing. I think. Yeah, maybe. I'm guessing. I don't know.
and another thing. Okay, you remember the fighters from the old one, not the first one?
Yeah.
They changed the fighters up.
Yes, they did. What's 20 years?
Well, it's 20 years, but they had that same fighter. You remember the first one? They had the fighter. Oh, this. They came before. They left this. They had the fighter there. What? Because it came.
From the 60s.
Yeah. So they from 60s to 96. They didn't change.
Yeah. I agree. I will agree totally. I was thinking that was a missed opportunity to make them very similar to the first movie, but they had to change them enough. I don't know why. I mean, I don't know. Okay, so here's my plot holes. First one: ignoring the alien sphere after it was shot down. They shot down the alien sphere, and they were just like, okay, it went over there. We'll get it later. Instead of we need to get over there now and see what we shot down. Because what if they survive? And they just kind of, oh yeah, well, we got this party to go to. Let's go take care of that.
Well, here's this. That's another thing I saw. Well, they shot it down. Why didn't they just say, "Hey, this person"? They just look at it. It's not firing on me. Why shoot at it?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, have they not watched enough science fiction in time to say if they're not shooting at you, just talk to them for a while. Maybe their universal translator isn't working right and they need to get enough words from us to be able to communicate, which basically they kind of retconned at the end, when they were like, oh yeah, we just need to be able to hear from you guys enough so we can communicate. And it's like, okay, anyway, then why didn't you just circle around the moon a few times and just, and then that one laser, that's the only one on the moon,
Yeah.
Again, the moon is so big, and that's the only laser that's on there that we thought. I mean, they had the satellites, which they took out immediately. But okay, here's a couple other ones I had. Okay, Dr. Oaken, that was the one that was played by Brent Spiner.
Yeah.
Okay, you're letting a warlord and Dr. Oaken wander around Area 51. Dr. Oaken was in a coma for 20 years, so he knows nothing. And a warlord, you're just letting them wander around, not having any guards with them. I mean, again, just really.
Well, you remember Dr. Oaken was there in Area 51 already
for 20 years in a coma though. So
yeah,
and of course the movie has showed us that it changed a lot. Hey, we got these space planes and stuff. You don't think Area 51 would have changed quite a bit?
Oh yeah, they definitely would have
done so. I know exactly what we need. Let's go find this item. Like that would be there. Okay, next one. Why didn't the Queen shoot at Patricia's plane when she was shooting at it? She just kind of ignored it and kept going after the bus. I'm sorry. Aren't you going to go after the thing that's shooting at you instead of the thing that's running away from you? Again,
well, this movie had a lot of plot conveniences as well, more so than the plot holes.
Oh yeah, that, and then how did her shields, the Queen's shields, just all of a sudden come down because she just shot at it that many times, and then that just finally shot it down, brought it down? Yes, maybe, I don't know. Okay, and then I already talked about that. Okay, the biggest one. If they said the mothership had its own gravity, when it came into the Earth's gravity, would that not have caused massive tidal waves, hurricanes, weather conditions, everything, and they were out there flying around on the salt in a bright sunny day just so we could see everything. No, it would have been storming because the ship's gravity mixing with the Earth's gravity would have just caused total ruckus.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So those are the things I think I have.
I had one more that I thought of just now.
Oh, I do have another one. Go ahead.
Didn't the Queen ship send out like a whole EMP blast that's what took out the satellites and all?
No, it was
they shot lasers at
lasers, almost like laser missiles.
Okay. Because just from the look of it, it looked kind of like an EMP, almost magnet. So I was thinking, man, if that was it, why didn't it take out the electricity too?
Well, one of the biggest plot holes is now you're drilling in the ground, and then they kind of retconned it again. They said, okay, where the Warlord planet was, that's where they were. But in the first movie, they were just under destruction of everything. Anything that is and they did mention it in this movie. They did say, hey, they like to go for the historical buildings or something like that. But the first movie they just were blasting everything, and then this one they were like, oh no, we've got to drill. And then they're like, really?
Maybe the other what was it, 5 or 6 ships the other ships that they destroyed was destroying the cities and keeping all eyes off the one that's actually was drilling at the Warlord's place. Because they almost fell in that crater where it was drilling. So who said they wasn't doing it? They just didn't show it.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I can agree with that. Okay, the last two I've got. First one is former President Thomas Whitmore. So for 20 now, he has not been president. I don't know. I'm assuming he probably served another 3 or 4 years, maybe 8 after that. So at least 12 years he hasn't been president for. How does he know prison codes? And how does he know how to pilot a tug? I know he was a pilot before, but this is all spaceships and stuff. This is not stick and rudder, an F-18.
Maybe they didn't
simulators in his free time. It's fine.
But he was going crazy. That's why they had him,
No, I don't think they did know it was going crazy. He was just there. But the codes, maybe the IT guy forgot to disable the code.
I don't know. I just, what I'm saying?
Oh, no. I totally get the plot hole. We could make excuses for it, but it's definitely still there.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because of the Queen hive mind that got into him, Maybe you just understood the piloting part, but even then, that's a stretch. The hole's still there.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't remember what my second one was. It's gone. So.
Okay, but he still get. But see, what do you think about the speech?
Oh, I love the speech. It wasn't as grandiose as the first
one,
but at least it was to it bring you into an emotional frenzy almost. It really was good. It really was. So let's go to our next segment. Okay, how are we going to fix or improve this movie? I know John just finished this movie just shortly before we record on this, so I'm not sure he's had a lot of time to think about it. So let's start with you, Chad, and then I'll go, and then maybe at that point, John will have to think of something. So, Chad,
I would have loved to see more. Okay, the new fighters that they put out sent to the moon base. I would love to see more fight scenes, like more of a, hey, here comes the new mothership. Oh, let's go more space battles to try to stop them. They would, hey, let's go attack. No, let's just back up and save. Or, I mean, you have all this new technology. Why couldn't you see that ship coming? I would have at least, you have all this technology, have radar, have something like you have other ways to put satellites further out than around the Earth.
Well, you saw that the ship was cloaked, or invisible or whatever, right before it came to Earth or the moon.
Well, that's what the first movie did. All the ships was cloaked. You didn't see them coming.
You're right.
So
because he just found the signal in the satellites because they were piggybacking on our satellites.
Yeah. So why didn't you? If they figured it out, but further, if you got a moon base, you had a Saturn base, you could have satellites throughout mixed in as a early warning detection. Easy. But the thing is, I would have a little more bigger fight scene at the end, like more of what you saw in the first one. Like you had everybody out there.
Yeah. I mean, because basically it came down to the 4 pilots.
Yeah.
With stolen aircraft that saved the day. To me, I mean, if and especially because before I mention mine, they originally were going to make this a part 2 and part 3. They wanted to do another sequel after this of Earth going and fighting the aliens on their turf.
Well, so they mentioned that.
That's how they kind of left it. Yeah, at the end. But then when this thing basically it crashed and burned. It crashed and burned. I mean, it did not do well at the office at all. I think one of the biggest problems that I noticed with it is it was trying too much nostalgia on the movie from 20 years ago. I mean, if you're going to go that route, you need to pay Will Smith a boatload of money and have him come back. And don't just say, "Oh, he died in a training accident." This is his son. Okay. I mean, yes, it was nice seeing David's father on the boat, and then he's risking it for the kids, I mean, and then they even brought the general back, who was sitting up on the stage. And
you had the general, and the guy that became president was on the first one too.
Yeah. Why don't y'all talk for a minute, because it's telling me my computer's almost dead.
I would say, at least then, while we're there, I mean, I would obviously fix the plot holes. I think the biggest thing outside of overall plot holes is give me a little more of the protection side from the little space ball thing. I think it definitely could have been more integral in terms of earlier parts. Maybe make it the time span of the 20 years where they're improving technologies, and then let this new queen ship coming in be the third part as opposed to the second. I don't know. I need a little bit more, I think, world building over the nostalgia like you were talking about, Dave. Because I think overall, if they had spent just a little bit more time trying to tell the overall story in the second one, I think they would have done a little better overall.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was going with it. Is I wanted to see more of a story rather than, oh, hey, I've got this character and I got this character, and I don't know about y'all, but whatever they did to Bill Pullman when he shaved his beard, that looked like a totally different actor. You know, to me, I thought it was a totally different actor because his body shape even didn't look the same.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
he could have left the beard and been.
And then, all of a sudden his hair is spiky. And I mean, I know it was kind of that way before, but it just didn't flow for me. Some of the things I would fix, I would, what you guys talking about, hey, let's have some more. You're going to spend all this money on all these ships and all that, where's the big ships? Where's our, like big bombers or something, you're going to need more than just fighters, and because it seemed like they were just trying to, we need to fight the little ships. When the first movie, the only reason they brought it down is because they got rid of the virus. They put the virus in the mothership.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that was the other plot hole. I knew I was forgetting one. Remember in the first movie, they said, they took down the mothership and then they all went away. And then this one, they were like, well, maybe they had a queen in it and that's why it went away. But it's like, it never showed us a queen or anything.
It just showed up.
It was just kind of a throwaway line, like, okay, well, there's a queen on this one. Maybe there was one on that one. I don't know. So, okay, let's go to our next segment. We are going to rate this on a scale of 0 to 5 lightsabers. Oh, by the way, for those of you out there that are just watching or just tuning in, at the end of last episode, we said this was going to be Battle of Terra. Well, Battle for Terra, sorry. That was my fault. I looked at it. I did not. 1 week we skipped, and I didn't skip the dates. So that's why we put that at the end of that one. And instead, we're doing this one. So we will do Battle for Terra next week. So we'll do that at the end. But anyway, we're doing our ratings. All right. Ratings on a scale of 0 to 5 lightsabers. Who wants to start? Okay, I will. I'll start. All right. I know both of you said you like this movie. I will not watch it again. To me, it was just it was supposed to be a popcorn movie, and it just failed on so many levels. It tried to be nostalgia. It tried this. It tried that, and it just. It seems like I'm having a lot of these. I'm gonna give it 1.5 lightsabers. The graphics were great. I did like seeing some of the people, and I'm not mentioning one particular person, which I will in another segment here after this. Just because, and he turned into something different. So anyway, so 1.5 lightsabers. So who's next?
I'll take it. For me, it's a solid 3. Just quality, entertainment, and general amusement, I guess. So on those 3, give it the 3. But it definitely gets points knocked off for story and plot holes. So.
Okay, Chad, how about you?
See, I was about to be a 3, but the more we talked, the more I thought about it. It's a 2.5.
Okay, fair point.
Because they too much on nostalgia. They could have just dropped and mention it and let it be it. Because, instead of having a celebration going in to the attack, should have been the first thing you done in the movie. Hey, we remember the fallen, and here we go.
Yeah, that instead of in the middle of it, it just that was so misplaced. Yeah, I guess is the good word for it.
Yeah.
So we started a segment last week, and on ones where we have ways we can do this, we're going to do the segment. Okay, versus. So we're going to do versus the original ID4, Independence Day or Independence Day Resurgence. So we're going to look at, first of all, we're looking at the young Bill Pullman versus the old Bill Pullman. I don't know about you guys, but I think actually Bill Pullman got better looking as he's gotten older. I love the beard. Even with the hair kind of, he doesn't look, he looks like a president. In the first movie, he looked like a president. But he was supposed to be a pilot, and then he kind of became the president after that. The second movie, I definitely think he's definitely presidential material compared to just a pilot. All right, next, guys. So, David Levison. What'd y'all think? Did you guys like the new or the old?
I like the old little. I like the new, the one that just the old look, and like I said, he looks more distinguished in this one than the other one.
Yeah, I'll say overall, I think they did a good job
in
the new in terms of what is it, costume design. I think just they just had to touch up on it, which that maybe because of the success of the first one, they have more money to throw in the budget on this one. I don't know, but I agree with Chad on that one.
Yeah, no, I like. I mean, again, Jeff Goldblum is another one. He gets better looking with age. However, I miss the quirkiness of
Yeah.
the first movie, where he's like, he's trying to recycle stuff. He's trying to save the world in his own way. He rides a bicycle, and then at the end he has that, with the cigar, and say, hey, I could get used to this, and then that turns into what we get next. Okay, David's girls. I call them David's girls. So we've got Constance, who was in the first movie, who was his ex-wife. And then you had Charlotte in this movie, because you notice at the end he has his arm around her and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you guys, but I liked the Constance. I liked her much, much better.
Yeah.
I really think that Charlotte was not even needed in this movie.
No, I think
she was just random.
Yeah.
Definitely wasn't needed. And we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, lead pilots. So you got Will Smith, or you got Liam Hemsworth. I'm sorry, but Will Smith just dominated.
Yeah,
he
for
was
sure.
So much fun, and just.
So I say this wasn't even a question.
No,
that wasn't.
Will Smith got his hands down.
Yeah,
he dominated, and plus the little humor in there also. So it's not like Hemsworth took it too seriously.
And yeah, I mean, and I really think that's one of the drawbacks from this movie is I think they had too many characters and too much trying to do too much character development. When Will Smith was the hero last time, and then his son just kind of regulates as a guy who you don't really like in the movie. You don't know why they had a beef until you watch the video of them and you realize that Tanner was in the wrong. Jake was right. He did not do anything wrong, and yet he's the one that got in trouble. So, things like that. It's just like I didn't like to see that his mom went from being an exotic dancer to a nurse. I thought that was cool. That she decided to change it. Go back to school, get education.
I thought she was going to school.
Actually, she might have been going to school for nursing. If in the first movie, I just don't remember.
Yeah.
If it was a throwaway line. But there was so many characters. I mean, honestly, I didn't think the warlord was needed. I didn't think that other guy was even needed. I mean, they just kind of added them, and the story probably would have been better without them. So, okay, everyone. Contact us. Please contact us. All right. Got to push the right button. There we go. You can reach us on Twitter at TheseSciFiGuys. You can email us, TheseSciFiGuys@gmail.com, or you can just post comments right here in YouTube. That's the easiest way to get in touch with us, because we read those all the time. And, we're shocked that sometimes we'll get a few views from our family and friends, and then other times we'll just get in the hundreds, and it blows us away, the way things are working and how this stuff does for us. We don't know. We don't understand it. We're just sci-fi guys. We love science fiction, and we just do a podcast. So I told y'all what we're doing next week is next week. It's the next one. It is going to be the Battle for Terra. Animated movie, as thrilling as any original Star Wars Trek. Again, I love that. They have to throw both Trek and Star Wars in there, just so it'll mess with you and do all that. And yeah, I don't know. I think that's everything. Is that everything? You guys got anything else? We're a little bit long-winded this time because it is Independence Day, but we like this. And with that being said,
crash and burn.